Yo, 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 welcome into another episode of the Armchair Titans podcast. Austin Nelson here with my guys, Noah McKay, Trey Watkins, and bruh, we have a special guest tonight. Yeah, kind of. Our guy, Elijah Wilson.
I'm happy to be a kind of special guest.
Yeah, we call you special because you have, you've been on daddy duty. You're special again. I mean, you've only been on the podcast one time since you've been with Armchair. So
hey, I'm glad to be back. I am pumped to be here. Wish it was on better circumstances, but I'm pumped to be here.
You went on, I guess, would you call it fraternal leave instead of maternal leave? You been on fraternal?
Paternal leave.
Paternal leave? Okay, yeah. Paternal leave. All right, well, hey, this is a broadcast brought to you by the Armchair All-Americans and armchairallamericans.com. Make sure you are following us on Twitter at Armchair Tighten Up. Like us on Facebook, Armchair Tennessee Titans. And, I mean, you guys know that I'm a gambler. I don't always win.
You've been getting the bad beats lately.
Dude, speaking of, so segueing into this, as you guys know, if you saw my tweets last night, if you follow me on Twitter at @AustinNelson, I bet on the Falcons -4 last night. Thought they'd beat the Giants with ease, and they did. They were beating the Giants. They had the Giants beat, and they let the Giants come back into that game. And I had the worst beat of this season. I don't know. Did Scott Van Pelt talk about it?
I don't know. I had it too.
Everybody was. So he had to.
And long story short, the Giants got a 2-point conversion with 2 seconds left and ended up losing the game by 3 points. So I was heated. I was so upset because I had a decent amount of money on the game. But regardless, if you're not betting with MyBookie, that is who Armchair All-Americans is sponsored by. MyBookie, they're blowing up. I mean, I've seen athletes, celebrities talk about it. So if you are not betting with MyBookie, you need to. Also, use the promo code Titans25, and on top of what you put in, they will match you dollar for dollar. So if you put in $100, they will give you $100. And then you put in the promo code Armchair25, and that's an additional $25 on top of that. So, again, mybookie.ag. Go use them, go bet, and enjoy, win some money. The money I did not win. So, guys, look, man, it's been a tough couple of weeks for our Titans. We'll just talk about London. First and foremost, I thought the whole London experience just was awesome. Obviously, I wasn't there, and you guys weren't there, but like just seeing social media, seeing the Titans fans, seeing the former Titans, Eddie and Javon and Keith, that whole crew over there. I mean, they ate it up. So I thought the atmosphere Sunday was cool, just on TV. It was packed, bigger than any Titans game ever.
Yeah, 84,000.
So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought too. People were saying, you couldn't tell whether it was a Chargers or a Titans game. I thought the fans got loud on Sunday. Just hearing it from TV, they sounded good. I mean, better than Nissan Stadium a lot of times.
But I thought it was a great crowd, great environment. You could tell that in random parts of the game, the crowd was going nuts, especially there at the end. But I mean, we could pick out a few things, but just in general, what went wrong? Why did the Titans not pull that game out?
That offense took 2.5 quarters to get started for me. I mean, we have a problem when 19 points feels like an offensive explosion, and that's kind of what it felt like in the second half of that game. And for me, it was, the defense got burned on those 2 big plays, but they only gave up 20 points to Phillip Rivers, and you should be able to win a football game only giving up 20 points. And consistently over the last 3 weeks, this offense has had a complete inability to score. And, they finally got into the end zone a couple of times, but 19 points just isn't going to get it done in the NFL.
3 weeks, because I would argue the entire season.
That's true. Yeah, the only game where it doesn't really happen is the Eagles game.
The losing skid, but I'm the entire season.
The Eagles game is the only game this season that wasn't just a complete fiasco on the offensive side.
The Titans just had a great day that day.
Yeah, exactly. But the trend is definitely that they just can't score. Right. And it's sad when under this supposed new innovative offensive coordinator, that, and you talked about it last week, that the stats are worse than they were under Terry Robisky.
Yeah.
That's just bad.
All right, so kind of just real quick, you keep talking, but just to kind of put in perspective, right now, through 7 weeks of the season, the Titans have the 30th ranked offense in the NFL. That is one behind Jacksonville. That tells you anything how bad they are right now. And they are just above Arizona and Buffalo. So they're only averaging, the Titans are 15.1 points per game. They are averaging 280 yards per game, 173 passing yards, and then 107 on the ground. None of that is great at all. And I still blame Robisky. I'm sorry, LaFleur. You said Robisky, so that's why I said that. LaFleur, I have not been impressed one bit. I still was not impressed on Sunday. Finally got the running game going. If you guys can agree with that, I thought the running game was, not fantastic, but it was improved from the weeks past. Dion finally had a Dion coming out party. That massive run he had was, dude. I mean, I got a bang in my chest at the LeBron thing. Dude, it was awesome. Still did not see the Derrick Henry you still want to see week after week, the consistency. But like you're right though. I mean, 2.5 quarters to finally get it going, but it did not feel like the Titans kind of. They owned that game. That was theirs to win, and they just left it there on the table, and they couldn't finish.
Yeah, they couldn't finish, and they couldn't finish because of, quite frankly, in my opinion, Matt LaFleur's play calling at the end of the game. I mean, I'm sorry. I understand throwing the ball. If you're going to throw the ball, you got to roll Marcus Mariota out, first of all. Second of all, though, can your offensive line not bully somebody for 1 yard? If your offensive line with Derrick Henry in the backfield can't move somebody for 1 yard, we got problems. We got real problems. I mean, if they can't do that, then they can't play football.
Yeah,
so
my thing on that though is I'm saying, Mariota's had his troubles pretty much all year. That is probably understated, but I think we all have faith in Mariota. I do for sure. But my thing is, I'm not taking the ball out of Mariota's hands. So I didn't mind that they threw the ball. I am just not loving that they're even throwing to a guy in Taywan Taylor that hadn't really caught the ball the whole game. And
see, listen, on the 1 yard line, I don't mind handing the ball off to Derrick.
Yeah,
you have an all-pro right tackle. Now the guards are banged up. That interior line, we can talk about that all day. That interior line's got to make some changes next season. I don't think anything's going to happen right now in the midst of a season. But you got the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history on the left side. You have a Heisman Trophy winner. Kyle Brandt said it best. If you guys saw the rant on Good Morning Football.
I don't listen to him anymore.
Why?
I just don't like what he has to say.
The thing
like pro Titans though. He likes the Titans.
He thinks he wants to like the Titans, but he doesn't like the Titans.
I think that's all of us though. We think we want to like the Titans.
I've never.
Really, if we're speaking of that whole sequence, I really thought the Titans should have, done a quarterback sneak there.
Yes.
And I mean, look, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because that second 2-point try, I saw how the defensive line was lining up, and there was nobody over the right guard.
We say that from that one still picture on Twitter, but I mean that was because the motion and whatnot. If you actually had a play set up for a quarterback sneak, I mean, what would it look like? Because they were spread five.
But here's the thing: I am a huge proponent.
Look. It makes me mad because when looking back on that play, you saw that defensive tackle that was over Ben Jones. He dropped into coverage. So if Marcus sneaks that in, that's.
But his mind's made up to throw the football.
I am a huge proponent of the quarterback sneak, and I can't remember a time when Marcus Mariota did not convert on a 1 yard. And the very few times he's been allowed to run a quarterback sneak, it's really hard to stop a guy from getting 1 yard when he takes the ball and immediately dives forward.
I mean,
it's really hard.
Literally put the ball over the goal.
Yep. There's so many things he could have done there, or you could have Derrick Henry do the same thing. All you got to do is run and jump. Just run and jump. But
he would have
throwing the ball to Taywan Taylor. I mean,
yeah.
And I understand that Corey Davis is, but. And the way Tajay Sharper's playing, Taywan Taylor is probably last on the list of those 3 wide receivers I wanted that ball going to.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thrown it to Luke Stalker again before I would have thrown it to Taywan Taylor.
He tried to catch a ball with his chest earlier in the fourth quarter.
They still ran that play with Lawan when he catches it against the Colts.
I messed around with that play.
That would have been money.
But there's a lot of different things they could have done, and I was just thoroughly unimpressed.
Very unimpressed. Go ahead.
sorry, my thing with LaFleur, going back to that, is I get what we're saying about LaFleur, that, you know, he struggled this year, but man, if we look at it, I feel like he does not have the personnel. You know, you look at it, you got Delaney Walker that goes down in the first game of the year, and that's a tough blow. And then you've got one really good wide receiver. Tajay Sharp is good. I would say Tajay Sharp is an average to good wide receiver. Taywan Taylor, I don't think he's great. But, you know, you look at the Rams offense from last year, they've got Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. They've got Todd Gurley. And so my thing is, I just don't think Matt LaFleur has the personnel that he needs to be comfortable in his offense to do what he wants to do. And it doesn't help that the Titans skill positions are not helping him out. Outside of Tajay Sharp and Dion Lewis, the Titans skill positions were trash.
Yes, but there are offenses in the league with worse personnel that do better.
I know, but I don't think we should be saying, oh, well, we should be doing because everybody else is doing better. But I think that a coach's scheme has a lot to do with the players that he's given, and you can't tell me that their whole scheme going into the season wasn't, you know, we're going to use Delaney Walker a ton. And Jonnu Smith has been worse than anybody ever could have thought he would have been. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. I think Matt LaFleur is in his head a little bit, but I do think it hurts a ton that they just don't have the personnel that they would like to have.
Yeah, and if I could branch off of that, of what Elijah said, he's right. Matt LaFleur is stuck, you know, regarding with the personnel that he has. He lost Delaney Walker, and he lost the team's leading receiver from the past 2 seasons because he wasn't happy with.
Oh yeah, I even forgot about Rashard Matthews.
But
forgettable.
He lost Delaney Walker, and now Jonnu Smith is getting first-team tight end snaps, and he's just not producing. And then you have Taywan Taylor and Tajay Sharp and Corey Davis, who've all been inconsistent at best at times during the season. And he can't get the run game going because that interior offensive line just can't push anybody down the field. So I know people love to like criticize the man who's behind, you know, the whole idea, but we just got to take a step back and look at the situation regarding personnel-wise that he has.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really give a shit about that.
I
don't care. I'm gonna be honest. Look, you have teams like let's talk for a minute. So the Jets have 60 more yards per game than us. The Dolphins, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, all with about 45 to 50 more yards per game. It's those teams. If you kind of look at theirs, you know, are their skill position players better than ours?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying, and those teams have an identity, though. We don't.
Okay. Yes. The problem with the identity is the offensive coordinator calling plays and the head coach.
But I'm still going back to personnel wise.
No, the personnel does not.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. I think LaFleur needs to call a better game, but I think when you line them up and you throw a 30-40 yard bomb down the field on a post route to Taywan Taylor and it hits him in the breadbasket and he can't catch it, that's my issue. It's not necessarily with, you know, Matt LaFleur doesn't have the right guys. And, you know, Mike Mularkey always would preach this of players executing. I think that's what has a lot to do with it. And I think, yeah, part of it is Matt LaFleur. I agree. But I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's probably a combination of both. I don't know whether it's 60-40, 40-60, 70-30. I don't know what it is, but it's a combination of both.
Look. Well, I've got a point that I've been thinking about for a while, and you guys are probably going to disagree with me on that. But, Elijah, you're talking about the personnel. I think a big part of that falls on our general manager. I don't think he's done a good job of surrounding this team with weapons.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I've been thinking about that too. And, you know, we want to give Jon Robinson a lot of praise. And I agree. Like, he's done a lot of good things. And, you know, he's gotten us, you know, Jack Conklin, and we got the King's ransom or whatever when we traded away the Rams draft pick. But I'm sitting here looking and I'm like, all right, well, Corey Davis, you know, he's had an all right year. Tajay Sharp has been okay. Mm-hmm. Taywan Taylor has been abysmal. Jonnu Smith has been absolute trash. You know, you've hit on a couple guys with Kevin Byard. You hit on him, so kudos for that. But yeah, that's my thing too. Is when Jon Robinson took over, they didn't have skill positions, and he brought in skill positions that were okay. You know,
Jon Robinson is better than Rustin Webster. Congratulations, Rustin Webster was a joke. He's gone 9-7, 9-7. Now he's 3-4.
Look,
People put him on a pedestal like he's the best GM in football. That is unearned. I'm not saying he's a bad GM by any stretch of the imagination, but people act like this man can do no wrong, and I firmly disagree with that.
Oh yeah,
Look,
I think he deserves some. I think he deserves some flack here.
If Delaney Walker's healthy, and Rashard Matthews doesn't be a baby and quit, are we? What's the conversation?
But no,
we're not having this discussion.
Rashard Matthews had character issues before he
At
showed
the
up.
time when we draft Corey Davis, when we draft Tajay Sharp, when we draft Taywan Taylor, we're not talking about this. We're talking about how they improved the offense, they stretched the field.
Oh yeah, I agree. I was one of those people.
But that's not our job. It's the GM's job to scout and be able to tell when these players are going to hit or not. He has 2 draft picks that you can bank right now on being amazing draft picks. Kevin Byard and Adoree Jackson. Other than that, it's either a question mark. Okay, I apologize. Jack Conklin. Yeah. He has 3 draft picks.
None of Daquan Jones, man?
Austin Johnson, really good. Kevin Dodd, how he's doing right now.
Oh, jeez.
The matter is,
he gotten Miles Jack.
Not a Super Bowl team this year. We can go ahead and just knock that out the window. I've said this since Miami. This is not a Super Bowl team.
No, we don't have. We do not have the talent, and we do not. Yeah, we just aren't a good team.
The Patriots.
I feel like with the whole personnel issue is that I think John so far has liked to bank on that whole Patriots like roster. Like, you're throwing guys in there
Screw that. We're not the Patriots. We're not.
I'm just saying, you're throwing guys in there who might not be the flashes, but if you have the best coaching staff, then they'll be able to bring the best up out of those players that they bring in, and which I think isn't good because that's the Patriots system.
Well, and because Mike Vrabel's not Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's only worked with the Patriots and Tom Brady.
Nobody's a Bill Belichick. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But he could be a very good head coach. But my thing is, and I'm not saying like Jon Robinson needs to be fired or anything like that. I just think that
he needs to be held accountable.
A lot of Titans fans act like he's the best GM that we've ever seen, and he's just not. He's not. And so, but I'm like, but if you really look at this team, and then by the way, Malcolm Butler, that new fancy offseason signing, he sucked so far this season. There's no other way to put it. He looks like one of the worst corners in football.
Yeah, I've tried to defend him, that he's been in good position, stuff like that. He's at this point, he's just getting burnt week after week, y'all. Logan Ryan did get beat really bad on that one ball.
Yeah, but he got beat because he was going down to help on Keenan Allen. I can forgive that one mistake because Logan Ryan, for the most part, is real solid. Malcolm Butler's problem is he doesn't look at the ball. Like, he's just running down the field, and all of a sudden, Michael Crabtree's turned around after 15 yards.
We talked about this last week. You can say that. I can say that about everybody right now.
True.
The Ravens game when Adoree was lined up on Crabtree a few times, he didn't look back at the ball. Crabtree had 6-7 catches that day. I think it's just a little bit of miscommunication back there in the NMCMB group, which I
hate that. We're done with that, right?
I'm really sick of that crowd because they keep flaunting it week after week with new swag, but y'all got to back it up because y'all have not backed it up in weeks now, a month and a half. Now, give them credit, okay? They just played a Hall of Fame quarterback. They just played a hell of a wide receiver in Keenan Allen. And they got some weapons, too, with Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams, whatever, who they have a lot of weapons. So,
hey,
go ahead.
Yes, you're right. Somebody who's not receiving enough flack for what's going on with this team is Rob Moore, wide receiver coach. Last season, do you guys remember he was in Oakland? Oakland couldn't catch a football to save their life. Now you look at this season. This team cannot catch a football to save their life. And I understand some people say that's not coaching, but when you have a consistent issue, when you go from one team to the next team, something's got to change because this team can't catch the ball, and they get paid to catch the football.
Mm-hmm.
And his wide receivers have consistently shown now back-to-back years, no matter where he's at, that they can't catch the football. That's a problem.
That's fair.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, so here let's look forward now. All right, so now we are 7 weeks in. The Titans are 3-4. It's still wide open. Okay.
Oh yeah.
The Texans are at top right now as of today at 4-3. Okay, the Titans have a win on the Texans. Moving forward now. Let's kind of just stop and just think. Okay, bye week this next week. We take a break, get the minds right, come back strong after the bye week. We're going to Dallas Monday Night Football.
Oh gosh,
that's a dub. Go ahead.
That's an L.
No, that's a dub.
No.
Let's go ahead and say 4-4.
Hold on.
Boys.
Hold on.
Let's relax a bit, man.
Hold on. let's say the Titans lose. Is the division still out of the picture?
No.
No.
I think November 5th in Dallas is going to be a huge test to see exactly who this team is. Do they care enough? Do they still want it? Or are they like, you know what? We just don't have it. We aren't the team we thought we were. But I don't see that happening because they didn't lay down against the Chargers. I still think they're pissed off and hungry. I really, really do.
I think Zeke Elliott runs for 180 yards, but continue.
Not one bit.
I'm just saying.
Dak probably throws for like -10.
No.
Disagree. Not against Malcolm Butler.
The Cowboys are not that great.
Neither are the Titans, apparently.
The Titans
They're about as even as possible. I mean, the Cowboys are probably the Titans of the NFC.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
The
problem is the Cowboys are good at what the Titans aren't good at stopping, running the football.
But the Cowboys aren't that good at anything.
They're good at run. Zeke Elliott is
They're good at running the football that well.
I guarantee you he'll run the football well. The Titans may win the game, but they're going to run the football well.
I don't care how well he runs the football then. Don't care. If we win, don't care how well he runs the football.
I agree with that, but I just think it could be really tough. And I do not trust this team to show up in prime time on Monday Night Football. I've learned to trust. And a game like against Indianapolis on Monday Night Football or Jacksonville, heck yeah, they show up. Not against the Cowboys in Dallas.
I don't trust this team to come out and beat the Mount Juliet Bears right now. Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't.
Mount Juliet Bears, dude.
Mount Juliet Bears are hot. That's all I'm saying.
If for some crazy listen, and I'm probably being a biased fan. If you're listening to this right now, ignore it. But if the Titans can beat Dallas,
Don't do it.
Opportunity at home in November.
Don't do it.
No, listen against the Patriots.
Please,
don't do it.
Please, don't give me false
I'm
hope,
listening.
man.
I'm listening, Austin.
No, the Eagles are not as good as the Patriots are.
What's so crazy about it?
Tom Brady's gonna gash his secondary up like freaking butter.
Tom Brady's gonna win this team over, man.
Right?
That's a foregone conclusion, man.
Hey,
That's a blowout.
Hey, you are my witness. When these guys are doubting us after that game and the Titans miraculously pull that off,
That's a blowout.
you will not be on the podcast.
That would be more miraculous than the Music City Miracle.
Yeah, that's a blowout.
All right, but after that, that was my point. You guys got ahead of myself. I didn't even get to finish myself. Then you got the Colts, Texans, Jets, Jags, Giants, Redskins, Colts.
Went out.
Honestly, the Titans are not a good football team. We won't win a game in the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and say that. But every single game after the Patriots game is winnable. I think every game we should win except for the Redskins game.
They may win. I went through the schedule at this point, and I had them losing every game winning every game except for the Redskins game. 9-7, making the playoffs. If they win the AFC South, they could win a playoff game because they either play Miami or Cincinnati. And they can beat Miami or Cincinnati.
Well, Cincinnati will never win a playoff game until Marvin Lewis gets fired.
Exactly.
So,
I'm not arguing that they're a good football team. I think they may get a really favorable matchup.
The Bengals aren't
Guaranteed W. Plus, it might be at home. I mean,
but
think about if we host a home playoff game at 9-7. If you tell me right now we're hosting a playoff game at 9-7, where we are right now, God has come back.
There'll be 45,000 people in that stadium.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you really think the Texans are going to hold on to that division? Whether they lose that division lead to the Titans or to the Jaguars?
They might amend the NFL rules in the middle of the season so no AFC South team gets That's how bad the AFC South is.
Quite frankly, I am more scared of Indianapolis making a run than Houston making a run.
Neither.
Because Indy has a legit pass rush and Andrew Luck is back. And if Marlon Mack can figure out how to run the football, which he's done the last 2 weeks, they become a little bit – now, they're obviously not a good roster, but Marlon Mack has gone over 100 back-to-back weeks, and he's looked pretty good. So I'm more concerned – I think the Titans still have a really good opportunity to win this division, but I'm more concerned with Andrew Luck getting really hot.
So we're just assuming that the Jags are going to jag, right? And that Bortles is going to Bortle. Okay.
I don't think Blake Bortles is the starting quarterback of the Jags in like 2 weeks.
No.
I think he's almost done.
He's gonna go 3-and-out first 2 drives and put Kirk. What's his name?
Cody Kessler.
No, they're gonna get blown out by Philly this week.
They are. Philly's pissed off. Man.
Can we talk real quick about what y'all thought about the 2-point conversion? If we should have gone for it, if we should have kicked the PAT and gone to overtime.
I sent a text I don't know if I sent it into the armchair chat, but another group chat. When they lined up, I knew they were going to go for 2 because this is Mike Vrabel.
He held up as soon as we scored.
I said, this is dumb.
No.
Because usually
Let
in
him
that
talk.
situation, I would have been okay with it. But the Titans were thoroughly the better team throughout the majority of that game and in the fourth quarter. And this team has a knack for not getting plays like that. I think you take it to overtime and try to win the game.
Except for the other 50-50 play where they scored on a touchdown to end the Eagles game.
It took like 15 plays to get into the end zone at the end of that game.
But did they win that game?
Hold on.
No, I'm talking about on Sunday when they were trying to punch it in. It was like fourth. It took fourth and goal.
If we kick the extra point and tie the game at 20, do you trust the Titans defense to stop Phillip Rivers with 34 seconds left with 2 timeouts or in overtime?
The guy that Malcolm Butler, that you've been trashing this whole podcast, you trust him to guard Ken Allen or Mike Williams? Because I don't.
I trust the Titans to win a coin toss and survive for 34 seconds.
The Titans win a coin toss? What are you talking about? We don't win coin tosses, dude.
Bro, here's the thing. My thing is Mike Vrabel has been aggressive all year. Why stop now? Second of all, in overtime, you might not even touch the ball once. NFL overtime rules are terrible. We can get that out of the way. But I think that if you're Mike Vrabel and you've done what you've done all year, you go for it on fourth down against the Eagles. You throw instead of kicking the field goal, you go for the win. Don't abandon it now. I mean, I love that he went. I don't love the play call, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. I didn't love the play call, but I love that he went for 2. Also, I love that Vrabel, I don't know whether this is true or not, but Vrabel said he was the one that decided to throw it on that 2-point conversion. And even if that wasn't his call, I am glad that he is taking some responsibility. I love to see that. And Mike Martin, he never did that.
I never doubted for a second that they were going to go for 2.
No, not for a second. As soon as Luke Sarker caught that ball, I said, "All right, let's win it right here. Let's go."
Yeah.
2 point.
Oh yeah.
You can't hope to tie it and then go and win the coin toss and go down the field and kick a field goal or whatever what may happen, score. You're right there at the goal line. You may not get that opportunity again. Finish it.
I get what you're saying. Okay, and here's the thing. I could see both sides, but before it happened, I knew that this was going to be a topic of conversation on all these podcasts and articles and everything. So I literally was like, I'm going to make a decision right now. And I put, this is dumb. Don't do it. I would kick it before it happened because I wanted to make sure it wasn't a prisoner of the moment. Even if they happened to make it, I said I didn't like it. Because in my opinion, the Titans were the better team, and I would have tried to just drive down.
Vrabel has the same mentality as I do. Listen, in the NFL in 2018, in any sport, croquet, cricket, chess, checkers,
go and win the game.
Whatever it may be. If you want to, I mean, I don't care what it is. There is no tying in sports.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no such thing as this team has 20 points and this team has 20 points, and we're going to leave the stadium and say,
I hate that too, but I would have gone to overtime. You have 10 extra minutes. It's not a tie.
No, I don't. Man, I don't like that.
Why even take the chance to go to overtime? Maybe we'll tie today. Win it. Go and win the game right there. I love
All right. Well, if you're going to do that, then you better not call a pass play to take one.
Yeah, you better have a real good play call, or it's going to be.
We talk about it all day long. We talk about it. It is what it is now. But at least you won or lost on the fact that, hey, you know what?
Mike Mularkey would have tied that game.
Yeah, for 100%.
Yeah. But I like that Vrabel.
Ball, dude.
I know that Vrabel is catching flack for this, but I love that he did that because who says Malcolm Butler doesn't get burnt for a 75-yard touchdown? I don't.
Anything could have happened. All right, let's kind of move on. All right, last thing, we'll wrap up. One or two things, and kind of make it short and sweet, but one or two things after the bye week, from this point on, what do you want to see the Titans improve on? And not the offense, not the defense, scoring points, just a certain aspect of the team. I'll start.
Okay.
Got to be the pass rush.
Oh, yes. We don't talk about that enough.
Got to get to the quarterback, man. I feel like that is a huge reason why the Titans are not getting off the field at times, why you have a 9-minute drive against Baltimore. Little things like that, it can cost you a game when you can't get to the quarterback at times. And, guys, we talked about it before the year, but the Arakpo and Derek Morgan talk, I don't see these guys being here next year, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't see both being here. And it's the fact that they're proving right now that they don't have it anymore. They've kind of been they've been ghosts all season long. We've got a few glimpses of moments there, but Harold Landry has been the only
Bright spot, yeah.
Bright thing on that pass rush. So I want to see that, and then just more Marcus. Just be more consistent. Like a game like Sunday, dude, win or lose, at least you played your tail off. You gave the Titans a chance to win. Just see more of that. No turnovers. The interception that he threw before half, it's just another bonehead Marcus mistake that he's got to overcome.
Yep.
See it week after week.
Yep.
But if he can clean those up, then the Titans will be they'll find ways to win games.
Yeah.
If I was to have some things I want to see the Titans focus on after this bye week, you gotta cut down on mistakes, man. And I know that's simple. I have two things actually. You gotta cut down on the mistakes, man. And I know that's just cliche. Cut down on mistakes, sounds so easy, but the Titans have made a whole bunch of mistakes on both sides of the ball so far this season. Whether it's dropping passes, whether it's not picking up a block that's leading to a drive-killing sack or something, you got to clean up mistakes.
Penalties.
And second off, penalties. And second off, the trade deadline is, what is it, about a week or so? And I know
8 days, or 7 days.
Look, this doesn't sound very possible considering Jon Robinson loves his draft picks, man. But the Titans need to get a wide receiver one way or the other. You can't just keep on throwing out those three. You can't keep throwing out those three guys and expecting to get consistent production on offense, especially when your running game's struggling. So
real quick, there's one wide receiver I'd be okay with them bringing in is Jeremy Maclin. Other than that, whatever. I think Jeremy Maclin would be good. So two things you kind of touched on the first one, Austin, and this has been consistent throughout the last couple of years for Marcus, and they're both on Marcus. Is for a lot of the game, he's money. And then there's one play where it's like, what the heck was that?
What did you see? Yeah.
Yeah, a bad decision, a complete overthrow, and 99% of the time it's
real quick, I'll let you keep talking, but even the pass to Taiwan and the 2-point conversion, why?
Yeah. Bad pass.
If a linebacker tipped it, it obviously wasn't a good pass.
Yep, I agree. So that – I keep waiting for him to fix it. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I keep hoping that we're going to have a game where he doesn't make that mistake. And two, I never doubt Marcus Mariota once against the crunch time. Like when they're down 14 in the third or fourth quarter, he turns it on. Like he starts stiff-arming people. He refuses to go down. Where is that in the first and second quarter of football games? Because we would be in way fewer deficits if he would play like that the entire game.
I think
the great ones play like that all game. Yes, there's the clutch factor where you do it in clutch time, but in the first and second quarter, it's like it's a completely different player. It's like he's more timid. He doesn't want to go get that extra yard. He doesn't want to get the first down. He doesn't want to run. He won't get somebody off him. He'll just go down super easy. And I'm not saying take unnecessary hits, but you can see a difference between when he's playing angry and really playing desperate and when he's just out there. I want to see that way more.
I think that whole first and second quarter Marcus thing comes down with the whole team, because we've seen these past, I want to say, couple of seasons, the Titans have had a lot of slow starts, and they've had a lot of slow starts. They've had a lot of comebacks, and they've had a lot of close points. Man,
Trey, what's the common denominator there? It's the quarterback. The team runs as the quarterback runs.
Fair.
I'll give you all my two cents real quick. First one is get the running game going. I don't know what you got to do to get Derrick Henry, get him going. If he's not the answer, then let's just give Dion Lewis 25 carries. I don't care. We got to get the run game going somehow, some way. We got to get the run game going, and then I think the flip side on the other side of the ball, I think our young linebackers got to do a better job. I think they did an all right job last week, but Jalen Brown and Rashaan Evans, Wesley Woodyard was back, and so that was good to see him back. But Rashaan Evans and Jalen Brown are kind of the future linebacking core of this team, and so we got to see them kind of step up, make some plays. Rashaan Evans, he's flying around, but we got to see him a little better in coverage. And kind of on the flip side, we got to see Jalen Brown pursue the ball a little bit better.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, hey, it was fun. We'll try to do this one more time maybe next week and kind of preview the Cowboys game. But again, if you're not following us on Twitter, please do @ArmchairTightenUp. Guys, we're almost at 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
Almost.
Right.
Gotta get there. So, again, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys in a few weeks and tighten up.
Tighten up.